close your eyes. Wait, no, keep them open, because what I'm about to describe will haunt you. Picture a Viking warrior, not the romanticized hero from movies. This man is dripping in blood that isn't his own. His eyes are rolled back, veins bulging like snakes under skin. He's screaming, but it's not a human sound. It's the roar of a bear, a feral howl torn from a throat shredded by rage. He charges into battle naked, ignoring arrows buried in his flesh, hacking apart enemies with an axe, while chewing on his own shield like it's bread. This is a berserker. And right now, thousands of miles away and 1,000 years later, there's a man just like him, a modern soldier. He's crouched in a pitch-black room, heartbeat steady at 40 beats per minute, a knife in one hand, a photo of his kids in the other. He's trained to kill everyone in this building in under 12 seconds. No fear, no doubt, no mercy. What do these two killers, ancient and modern, have in common? They've both unlocked the berserker state, a primal, almost demonic switch in the human brain that turns ordinary men into blood-stained legends. Stick with me, because over the next hour, you'll learn exactly how this force works and why it's hiding inside you too. Let's start with the Vikings. These weren't just raiders in horned helmets, though pop culture loves that myth. The berserkers were something different. Historical accounts describe them as warriors who fought bare-chested, immune to pain, biting their shields in a frenzy. They were said to channel the spirit of bears or wolves. But how? Was it drugs, rituals, or something darker? Scholars like R. Brian Ferguson argue it was a mix of psychological conditioning, ritualistic practices, and maybe even hallucinogens. Imagine consuming a potent brew of psychoactive mushrooms before battle. Your senses heightened, your fear suppressed. You're not just fighting, you're transcending. The line between man and beast blurs. You become a weapon. But here's the twist. Modern special forces have their own version of the berserker state. Think about it. Navy SEALs endure Hell Week. Days without sleep, freezing water, constant physical torment. Their training isn't just about building muscle, it's about breaking down the mind's limits. They're taught to embrace pain, to function in a state of controlled fury. Sound familiar? It's the same primal energy the berserkers tapped into, but refined with science. Adrenaline, cortisol, neural pathways rewired under stress. This is the biochemistry of the berserker state in the 21st century. Now, let's talk about the mind. Both berserkers and special forces rely on what psychologists call stress inoculation. You expose yourself to extreme conditions repeatedly until your body and mind adapt. For Vikings, it might have been ritual combat or exposure to the elements. For a Green Beret, it's simulated missions under live fire, sleep deprivation drills, and mental resilience training. The goal? To enter a hyper-focused state where fear doesn't exist. Time slows, instinct takes over. You're no longer thinking, you're doing. This is the essence of the berserker state, a survival mechanism honed over millennia. But there's a dark side. Berserkers were feared even by their own people. Sagas tell of warriors who couldn't turn off the rage, becoming dangers to their communities. Modern special forces face similar struggles. PTSD, addiction, fractured relationships, the cost of living in the berserker state long after the battle ends. It's a haunting parallel. The very thing that makes these warriors lethal can also destroy them. So, why do they do it? For the Vikings, it was honor, legacy, the promise of Valhalla. For today's operatives, it's duty, brotherhood, and the thin line between chaos and order. Here's where it gets controversial. Some researchers argue that the Berserker state isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a genetic trait. Could certain individuals have a predisposition for this extreme aggression? DNA studies of Viking remains have found mutations linked to adrenaline production and pain tolerance. Modern soldiers are screened for physical and mental resilience, but what if we're unconsciously selecting for the same traits that define berserkers? It's a chilling thought. Evolution favoring the warriors who can flip the kill switch in their brains. Let's zoom out. Why does this matter to you? Because the berserker state isn't just about war, it's about human potential. Athletes, CEOs, artists. Anyone who's ever pushed past their limits understands that primal drive. The difference is warriors weaponize it. But in a world where drones and AI are changing combat, does the berserker state still have a place? Or is it a relic of a bloodier time? R. Brian Ferguson suggests that understanding this state is key to mastering conflict, whether on the battlefield or in the boardroom. Now, let's get practical. How do you tap into the berserker state? Don't worry, I'm not advising you to chew hallucinogenic mushrooms. For Special Forces, it starts with breath control. Techniques like box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Flood the body with oxygen, sharpening focus. Next, visualization. Before a mission, operatives mentally rehearse every move, every contingency. It's a modern-day version of the Viking rituals, preparing the mind to act without hesitation. Finally, embrace discomfort. Cold showers, fasting, intense exercise. These aren't just fads. They're tools to condition your nervous system to thrive under stress. But here's the kicker. The berserker state isn't sustainable. Vikings who survived their frenzies often collapsed, physically wrecked. Modern operatives rotate out of combat zones to recover. The lesson? Peak performance requires balance. You can't live in the berserker state. You visit it when necessary. That's why the most elite warriors are also students of meditation, yoga, and mindfulness. They understand that to control the storm, you must first master the calm. As we wrap up, let's return to that ancient battlefield. The berserkers are gone, but their legacy lives on. In the silence before a halo jump, in the tension of a hostage rescue, in the unbreakable bond of a team that trusts each other with their lives, the spirit of the berserker state endures. It's a reminder that deep within us all lies a primal force, waiting to be harnessed, not for destruction, but for the courage to face the impossible. So, what's your berserker state? What challenge have you been avoiding because it feels too big, too scary? Take a lesson from the Vikings and the Special Forces. Confront it head-on. Bite your shield. Dive into the freezing water. Rewire your mind. And remember, the difference between chaos and courage is just a state of mind.